The Coyote Twin, Vermilion's downtown theater. Providing entertainment Thursdays through Sundays.
SDPB rallies the state to raise money.
We'll have that and more coming up. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Dozens of journalists have left behind their access to the Pentagon. Welcome to Coyote News. I'm Jacob Pierce.
And I'm Kylie Moore. We'll get to that story in a moment, but first, more than 2,700 No Kings protests took place this weekend throughout the country, with 11 taking place in South Dakota. Coyote News' Nathan DeGriff spoke with organizers of the event that took place in Vermilion.
Over 400 protesters gathered at the Platts on Main Street on Saturday for the No Kings rally. Jeffrey Graylobe is one of the organizers and said he wanted the rally to be centered on song, and songbooks were handed out to rallygoers.
It's easy to feel like you're alone. We don't always get the full picture from all of our news sources. So sometimes simply having a physical event where you can be with a group of people, you can understand that the goals that we all have are very positive, that we want what's best for our country.
Protesters voiced concerns over President Donald Trump's administration and its policies. President of the USD College Democrats, Piper Connolly, was one of the many who spoke at the rally.
We're slowly seeing democracy slip away from us, and I don't want a future for myself or for my future family where we don't feel safe in America. I want to be able to say I'm proud of being an American. I don't want to be embarrassed to have to admit that I'm part of a country that's falling into authoritarianism.
For the second half of the rally, the crowd marched down Main, Dakota, and Cherry Street before stopping in front of the Coyote statue on campus, where they continued to sing and protest.
Democracy doesn't defend itself, our institutions don't defend themselves, and our nation is never its best self unless all of us are participating in making it its best self.
Throughout the state, there were multiple protests, including one in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, Aberdeen, and Pierre. For Coyote News, I'm Nathan DeGriff.
This is the second No Kings protest this year. The first took place on June 14th, which was President Trump's birthday.
A campaign is raising money for local journalism. Coyote News' Jason Lopez Martinez has more.
South Dakota Public Broadcasting lost nearly a third of its budget after Congress pulled $2.3 million in public media funding with just 75 days' notice.
The campaign is about filling the hole that was left with a federal decision. On 75 days' notice, the federal government chose to end funding for public media. It had been in place nearly 60 years, and to do that on 75 days is just a travesty.
In response, the Friends of SDPB launched the Bison campaign, a push to raise $2 million by October 31st. Nearly $1.9 million has already come in. Leading the effort is CEO Ryan Howlett. But even as donations come in, cuts are taking effect, with fewer productions, reduced services, and a growing impact on rural communities.
There's some places out in the rural reservations where it is SDPB and that local tribal station. They're the community hub for those communities and how they share information. And if that's gone, and then if we were to be gone for weather alerts and things, there'd be literally no media to broadcast.
Howlett says the campaign is meant to stabilize the station, focusing on rebuilding local programming and staffing.
If we don't act now and we're not successful with the Bison campaign and those layoffs occur, it will be devastating. There will just be so much local content that is gone.
For Coyote News, I'm Jason Lopez Martinez.
To learn more or support the campaign, visit sdpb.org. The campaign runs through the end of October.
Dozens of reporters left the Pentagon over the last week after they were given the option to agree to new government restrictions or leave. One of the rules was that these outlets would have to follow is pre-approving all of their reports with the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who would have the final say on whether it was published or not. In total, around 40 to 50 journalists left the Pentagon, with the only outlet abiding by the rules being One America News Network. Last night at the Student Government Association meeting, Dean of Students Kate Fitzgerald spoke about an open meeting with the Faculty Senate that took place this morning. The meeting was open to all students, faculty, and staff. The meeting started at 8:30 and discussed the role of the university and had open dialogue about the challenges of the time both on campus and off. President Sheila Gestring, Provost Kurt Hackemer, and the university attorney were also in attendance to answer any questions. SGA meetings take place every Tuesday at 6:30 and are open to all students to attend.
The USD Jewish Students Organization is hosting a panel discussing the rise of modern anti-Semitism. The panel will feature speakers who have studied across the globe to talk with students about the effects of anti-Semitism. The discussion will be held next Wednesday at 5 p.m. in Patterson Hall, room 117. Students gathered in the Muck today to discuss their First Amendment rights both on and off campus. The Freedom Forum is a DC-based organization that educates and advocates for First Amendment rights. Alex Maury is the First Amendment specialist for Freedom Forum.
Is so important for how you show up in your daily life, how you express yourself, how you show up authentically. And yet, a lot of Americans don't know what the First Amendment protects: the 5 freedoms, speech, religion, press, assembly, and petition. That's the one people always forget, and how it is valuable.
Students could play trivia and ask questions to Maury regarding what is protected under the First Amendment. The Freedom Forum is hosting a workshop right now until 6, educating students on what their freedoms look like in practical situations.
Coming up, South Dakota high schoolers got the chance to peek into the professional world. You're watching Coyote News.
Margaret Cottle is a USD psychology major with a minor in arts and health.
I like that I can combine both psychology and art and study 2 things that I love. I get a lot of satisfaction out of using non-medical treatments such as art to promote people's wellness and provide therapeutic activities for people. I like watching Coyote News because I feel like it's very authentic and it keeps me up to date of what's going on around campus. I really enjoy the live Q&As and those kind of fun little looks into student life.
This is Coyote News.
Last Friday, the National Music Museum gave listeners a taste of the textures and rhythms of Andean music and culture. Peruvian artist Alejandro Adacusi performed as part of the museum's weekly NMM Live series. The guitarist, composer, and educator took center stage to play the chungrango and hatun chanrango small Peruvian guitars.
I'm inspired to play for people who have never heard of the charango before. I feel that I'm in the obligation to share this musical tradition with as many people as I can.
Adacusi focuses on bringing cultural music traditions to new audiences. His performance blended traditional Andean sounds with elements of jazz, classical, and modern music. South Dakota was one of Adacusi's many stops on his current tour. The NMM Live series continues this Friday at noon, featuring harpsichordist Nathan Mondry and Nicola Canzano. This week, students from across the state got the chance to learn from professional journalists what it takes to be in the field. The South Dakota High School Activities Association hosted the 2025 press convention here at USD on Monday. Students heard from journalists around the state and could ask them questions after the presentation about how their education helped them in their career and how to get into the business. Along with the panels, students also got hands-on practice with photography, interviewing skills, and more.
Students in the community came together to support drag performers yesterday. Spectrum hosted their biannual professional and amateur drag show last night. The show took place in the Muck Ballroom and featured 4 student performers and 7 professional performers who showed off their skills to the audience. While the show was free for all students, all attendees had to be 18 years or older to comply with Board of Regents policy. Despite the policy, though, there was nearly 300 in attendance. Spectrum's next drag show will take place in the spring semester.
The 73rd Annual Harrington Lecture is taking place tonight. Coyote News' Nadia Castillo is live in the Muck to learn more. Nadia?
Thank you, Jacob. I'm here today with Dr. Angela Helmer, speaker for the Harrington Lecture. Dr. Helmer, your work focuses on Latin and Spanish languages during colonial Peru. What drew you into this topic?
Oh, well, yes. When I was a graduate student, I took a class on diglossia and bilingualism, and I thought it was an interesting situation to explore in Peru because, of course, there are indigenous languages and Spanish was a language of prestige, but among the elite in Lima, which was the capital of the Viceroyship of Peru, there was Latin on top of it, and it was the language of education, the language of cultured people. So it was interesting to see how one language had prestige over the others. So I started looking for Latin texts and Latin and Spanish texts written by Peruvian authors in Peru and printed during the colonial period to see what its role was during that time. Yeah.
What is the most surprising or powerful thing that comes from studying these Latin texts that you've encountered so far?
Well, there are many aspects that are very interesting. First of all, how society was put together, how there were people who were excluded from education, how a language like Latin could be a tool of education, but at the same time a tool of divide. It was dividing society as well. But then one can also see how people were resilient and tried to learn the language in order to, get up in society in some way. But also how people start thinking about the Americas as a different country, like as a different place, not Spain, but the Americas. So they use the language also to describe products, plants, things from the Americas, and they feel that they are their own. They belong to the country. They belong not to Spain, but to the Americas in general. So, there's so many different aspects that are very interesting.
What is it like working with these centuries-old documents and having to read them?
It's fascinating. I love that. I look at old manuscripts. Sometimes they are printed, sometimes they are not. I really like paleography, so reading ancient writings. And also, the print was different then than today. Spanish also has changed. Of course, every language evolves. So reading texts from the 16th, 17th century, it's a very demanding, challenging thing, can be, but it's also a beautiful thing to discover, how people thought, how people lived. It's really interesting to me.
And finally, out of all the languages that you speak, which is the one that you like using the most?
Oh boy, it depends on what it is for. Of course, I love Spanish, it's my native language. I love German, I love to read in German. I speak English a lot, of course, because I live here. I love Portuguese. It's such a melodic, beautiful language. But recently, I've fallen in love with modern Greek. So that's the language that I really want to learn now. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Helmer, for being here. Live from the MUC for Coyote News, I'm Nadia Castillo.
Thanks, Nadia. The lecture begins at 6 in Farber Hall.
Students can have one-on-one conversations with local law enforcement next week. The Vermilion and University Police Departments are hosting Coffee with a Cop Tuesday morning to give students a chance to sit down and get to know the officers who serve their community. Coffee with a Cop runs from 11 to noon next Tuesday at Caribou Coffee. Drinks and donuts are free. Students can get breakfast for dinner this week. The Promoting Awareness Victim Empowerment Organization, or PAVE, is hosting a pancake feed Friday night. Plates cost $5 and include pancakes, sausage, and juice. The feed starts at 5 at the St. Thomas More Newman Center. All proceeds will go to the River City Domestic Violence Center in Yankton.
Getting in the Halloween spirit, there will be a pumpkin carving event at the H.W. Over Museum on Sunday. Pumpkins and treats will be provided, and the festivities go from 2 to 4 p.m. There's also a limited amount of pumpkins, so it will be first come, first serve. Admission is free.
Next on Coyote Sports, soccer takes on in-state rival for last home game of the season.
And volleyball hosts South Dakota State.
What does the group think? We think a strength is their brand recognition. The
This is Zoe, and you're listening to Afternoon Rap on KAOR 91.1 FM. This is my next selection.
Hey Sally, come check this out.
I like it. What if we try this?
We're out.
What's up is down, what's left is right.
What did you think of your performance today?
I believe I did well. I achieved what I needed to do for the team. The team actually functioned the way we needed to. We did our 111th and we were able to make plays.
This is Coyote News.
A new program record has been set by a men's golf player. This is Coyote Sports. I'm Jason Lopez Martinez.
And I'm Mohammed. Cross country has their final race before the Summit League Championships. USD football traveled to northern Iowa to take on the Panthers. The Coyotes scored first with a passing touchdown before northern Iowa answered with a touchdown of their own. USD kicker Zeke Mata nailed a new program record 58-yard field goal before halftime. The teams would trade touchdowns in the second half as the Coyotes scored a 17-14 victory. The team comes back home this Saturday as they host 18th-ranked Illinois State.
The Coyote soccer team hosted in-state rival SDSU on Saturday. The game started out dry, but weather would soon affect conditions as rain and wind came through. South Dakota took 16 shots but were unable to find the back of the net. USD goalkeepers picked up 7 saves as the two teams tied 0-0. The teams head on the road to finish Summit League play Thursday at Omaha and Sunday at Denver.
South Dakota volleyball also faced in-state rival SDSU. The Coyotes started strong, winning opening set 25-22. The Jackrabbits would rally and win the next 3 sets to defeat USD 3-1. USD would regroup and defeat NDSU on the road 3-1 after dropping the first set last night in Fargo. The team competes at home twice this week, tomorrow versus Denver and Saturday against North Dakota following the football game.
The swim and dive teams traveled to Kansas to compete. The men went up against Missouri S&T and won 193-154. Nick Rounds posted 2 individual event victories and 2 relay team victories for the Coyotes. The women's competed against Kansas and lost 241-105. Multiple Coyotes posted second-place finishes, including Madeline Gerke, who finished second in the 100 free and 200 free relay team. The men take a break as the women host Iowa State on Friday.
Coyote News' Addie Sportletter is live in the muck with Connor Singheisen, Assistant Director of Intramurals and Clubs. Addie?
Thanks, Mohammed. Connor, what does your role consist of Assistant Intramural Director in Club Sports?
So I'm in charge of all aspects of the intramural program, from scheduling events to scheduling staff, hiring staff, training staff. On the sport club side, it's all administration, so helping clubs get what they need in order to compete against other universities across the region.
What part do intramurals play in building campus community and school spirit?
I think the more you get involved on campus, the better your grade point average is going to be, the more you're going to be around, the more community you build. You meet people with the same interests, you compete against other people, and I think that if anyone that played sports was to look back at people they knew and they liked from other communities, it revolves around sports, and you get that here on campus.
How has the new natatorium played a role in developing new intramural sports for students?
Yeah, so we're always looking to find ways to add stuff to our schedule. This year we have water volleyball duos that started last night in the rec pool. We have a aquatic trivia tic-tac-toe coming up November 13th. We did a big splash competition during welcome week, and we have inter-tube water polo coming up in the spring semester.
What has been your favorite part of organizing intramurals and club sports?
I think it's the people I deal with. You know, you get to meet so many neat people. You build connections, like finding out you're from Nebraska and we actually know some of the same people. And just dealing with students on a daily basis that are energetic and they like what they do. They adapt to things and they're always looking for more fun things to do.
Thank you, Connor. Live from the Muck for Coyote News, I'm Addie Sporletter.
Thanks, Addie. Registration for intramurals can be found at imleagues.com. South Dakota cross country traveled to Illinois to compete in the Bradley Pink Classic. The men's team had 2 runners break the top 50th and finished 14th overall and 3rd out of the Summit League teams in the field. The women's team was successful, finishing 8th in the red race with 2 runners in the top 50 and 6th in the white race. The team now prepares for the Summit League Championships taking place November 1st in Nebraska.
Men's golf competed at the Latour Intercollegiate in Louisiana. The team finished 2nd overall with Joe Ralwick setting a new individual lowest round in program history, shooting 10 under par. The team also set a new lowest single round team score of 269. The team is now done competing for the fall season and won't resume again till February at the Loyola Intercollegiate. Women's golf was in Kansas for the Power Cat Invitational. Ella Greenberg led the way, finishing 5th with a score of 9 shots over par. The team finished 7th overall. The team is done for the season and will starts the spring season in February at the Rio Verde Collegiate Invitational.
Basketball is just around the corner, and the women's basketball team has been putting in the time to prepare for the upcoming season. The team has a multitude of new faces added this year. Many of the new players are coming to USD with previous playing experience at the collegiate level. Carrie Amy is the head coach of the women's basketball team. She says that her team has been improving every week as the start of the season approaches.
I think offensively we're going to really move the ball, work together to get great shots. Hopefully this is a group that people just really enjoy watching and can get behind and really follow this upcoming year.
Last year, the Coyotes had an overall record of 11-20 while going 5-11 in their conference. The Coyotes have been picked 4th in the Women's Summit League's preseason poll this year. Their season officially starts on Monday, November 3rd against York University at 5 in the Sanford Coyote Sports Center in a doubleheader with men's basketball. That's it for Coyote Sports.
When we come back, we ask students what their most memorable Halloween costume was. Stay with us.
Do you feel tired and anxious at times? Do you feel like you can't focus on your school assignments? Exercising might be your solution. It helps you feel less anxious and gloomy. You can relax better and you suffer less from stress. You will get more energy, sleep better, and find it less difficult to remember all your courses. So move your body and be your own change.
The University of South Dakota's Department of Media and Journalism.
You're never gonna know.
Fostering students' talent and creativity through the art of filmmaking. Share your stories. Bring your ideas to life. Discover your passion. Find your voice.
This is Coyote News.
In Tualatin, Oregon, growing pumpkins is only part of the fun this Halloween. Each year, the town hosts a pumpkin regatta where participants carve a hole into large pumpkins they have grown and race them down a stream with paddles. Participants come across from all over the state to compete and show off their costumes and pumpkins. A popular indoor activity during the colder months is sitting down to watch a movie.
We asked our Instagram followers what upcoming movie they are most looking forward to.
I would say maybe, okay, so Mortal Kombat 2, maybe, because video games. Springsteen, I'm assuming that's like a biopic about Bruce Springsteen?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I usually like those like musician biopic movie, so I might actually watch that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really know which of these I'd watch, but I have heard about Springsteen. That's the only one I've kind of seen around.
Okay, we'll see what people said. Wow, regretting you. Apparently, I'll have to buy my ticket today because it's the movie to see. Follow our Instagram page for more weekly polls.
Halloween can create some of the best memories for people, whether because of the candy, events, or attire.
We asked students, what is their most memorable Halloween costume?
Here's what they had to say.
I was Guy Fieri one year. That was pretty fun. Tigger from Winnie the Pooh.
When I went to the zoo with my parents and we all dressed up as Scooby-Doo.
Batman. I was Batman.
Batman. I think I did Batman one time, and that was all I can remember.
Going as a lion from Wizard of Oz.
Probably Spider-Man.
My most memorable Halloween costume was probably Dark Voyager from Fortnite.
Probably Frankie from Monster High.
Probably a lion.
I probably did like glow in the dark, so it was like a black bodysuit, and then we put glow sticks around, so it made it look like a glow in the dark stick man, and it was actually really cool.
Dalmatian, like a dog from 101 Dalmatians. So my mom just put us in a big cardboard box and did solo cups, and we were Legos.
I would say Thor.
A couple years ago, I was Walter White from Breaking Bad. I had a bald cap and everything.
I think it's got to be Spider-Man.
Dressing up as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Bumblebee.
I think my most memorable costume was one year me and one of my other friends went as the Ghostbusters, and I was Peter Venkman, and it was fun. We had like the whole like packs and like the blaster stuff. It was a good time. How about you guys?
I went as Prince one time, and I thought that was a great costume, so I think Prince for me.
That would be great, I imagine.
I just did a lot of princesses growing up, you know? I was Belle one time. Yeah, good times.
For me, I remember in middle school, if you guys play Fortnite, like the Rex character had a jumpsuit, and it was just, I don't know. I still have it. I feel like it still like fits on me, so like I feel like one of these times I have to like open the old closet.
You gotta bust it out. Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
That's all for Coyote News.
Pick up the Volant for a preview of the theater department's upcoming performance.
Listen to 91.1 for news updates throughout the week and for coverage of your USD sports.
And don't forget to follow our social media pages for daily updates and the week's poll. Have a great night.